All right, a very good afternoon to one and all. I'm Sujata, and I'm going to be facilitating today's IELTS Success Series session number 1. This is going to be a very interesting session because we're going to cover a lot of things which you may not have seen before. So, what are the aims? What all do you think should be the focus in this session? Of course, why should you choose IELTS exam? ऐसा क्या है IELTS exam, International English Language Exam में, कि amongst the basket of so many of English exams, हम क्यों कह रहे हैं आपको IELTS exam choose कीजिए? तो हम इस पे थोड़ा zoom in करेंगे और बातचीत करेंगे. और IELTS के बैंड इतने important क्यों है? ऐसा क्या मैजिक है IELTS बैंड में? उससे क्या क्या आपको फायदा होता है? We're going to look at that. और आइल्स और कनाडा कितने जुड़े हुए हैं और उसकी एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी कहाँ तक है, उस पे भी हम और फोकस करेंगे. एंड ऑफ कोर्स द सेशन विल ओनली बी कंप्लीट अगर हम आपको कुछ ऐसे टिप्स दें और ट्रिक्स दें जिससे आइल्स की एग्जाम जर्नी आपके लिए स्मूथ हो जाए, मोर विनिंग हो जाए और हम अपनी तरफ से पूरी ये तैयारी कर आए हैं. ठीक है, तो आज का सेशन हम शुरू करते हैं. ऑन दिस स्लाइड मैंने कुछ पॉइंटर्स बनाए हैं और उन पॉइंटर्स में जो मेन थीम है वो है कि आइल्स एग्जाम जो इंटरनेशनल इंग्लिश एग्जाम है वो आपके लिए एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चॉइस क्यों है और आपको ये क्यों चूज करना चाहिए. तो सबसे पहले कॉलम पे फोकस करते हैं. आइल्स एग्जाम एक इंटरनेशनल इंग्लिश एग्जाम है जिसके रिजल्ट्स एब्सोल्युटली एक्यूरेट होते हैं. तो ये एग्जाम अभी कोई नया एग्जाम नहीं है, ये बहुत सालों से वर्ल्ड वाइड एक्सेप्टेड है. और जो इसकी सिस्टम की प्रोसेसिंग है, लिसनिंग, रीडिंग, राइटिंग, स्पीकिंग की, ये बहुत ही एक्यूरेट है. इसमें एक पर्सन स्पेसिफिक इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं है. इट्स अ होल इनपुट दैट हैज बीन डन टू क्रिएट योर लिसनिंग स्टैंडर्ड स्कोर्स. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर 5 बच्चों ने एग्जाम दिए तो किसी में कोई ग्रेस मार्किंग होगी, ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. एक बहुत स्टैंडर्ड और तरीके से चेकिंग होती है. जैसे एक लिसनिंग एग्जाम अगर मैं एग्जाम्पल दूं तो 40 क्वेश्चंस हर एग्जाम में आएंगे और या तो 1 मार्क फॉर करेक्ट आंसर है या 0 मार्क फॉर इनकरेक्ट आंसर है. स्पेलिंग एरर्स, ग्रामर मिस्टेक, इनमें कहीं ग्रेस मार्किंग नहीं है. तो कोई इनएक्यूरेसी का सवाल ही नहीं होता. और जब हम सब्जेक्टिव चीज की बात करें जैसे राइटिंग एंड स्पीकिंग, या सो व्हेन we speak about writing and speaking, the subjective scores altogether, there's a rubrics around which your checking is done by the trained examiners, and those rubrics have clear columns. So those clear columns are applicable to every script, no matter whether you are taking an exam in India or you're taking worldwide anywhere. Okay, so it's a very uniform exam. And it's a uniform pattern of checking, and it's an absolute accurate checking pattern. Okay, so I've got a prompt for someone who doesn't understand Hindi to speak in English. So I'm going to use English. So please be assured, I'm going to be speaking in English as much as I can, but I'll be also choosing a different medium so that, most of you can kind of get the best from today's session. So the first thing that I have focused on the accuracy of the results, which makes IELTS very trustworthy, both for the candidates and also for the receiving organization. Secondly, the results are faster. So when I say faster, the computer-based results are out within 5 days from the test date, and the pen and paper on the 13th day from the test date. When I say IELTS exam give you more choices in test types, by that I mean it allows you to choose a pen and paper version or a computer test version. Okay, so you can choose either. Some people are not comfortable to work only on computer or only on paper, so they have the freedom to choose between the test types. As I had said, this is an international English exam which is worldwide recognized, and it's trusted by all the organizations. And when it comes to the IELTS exam, the entire testing process, the question designing process or delivery process is governed by trusted bodies. So if I look at this exam in India, it's a partnership between Cambridge and IDP India now. But overall worldwide, there are 3 parties in this: Cambridge, British Council, and IDP. So all three are known for quality, and they together bring the best for the IELTS exam for you. Now, when it comes to the IELTS exam preparation, any candidate would require a lot of free practice resources to check whether he or she is feeling comfortable to give this exam or no. And IDP gives you a lot of free practice resources and also expert support. Just like today's session of IELTS Success Series, we also do masterclass almost 2 to 3 times every month. So there's no cost attached, and you don't really need to get into coaching if you can self-manage your preparation with all the support that we are providing absolutely free of cost. So whatever I've spoken right now, these points are well listed on IELTSIDPindia.com. And there's a very nice blog which details them, all of them, why to choose IELTS. If anybody wants to visit it again, I've kept the link handy for you, please. Now, when I look at IELTS exam and I look at Canada in perspective, okay? When I look at IELTS exam and I look at Canada in perspective, why do you think IELTS can be given for Canada immigration, or it can be given for study in Canada? Anybody in the chat, please respond. Why am I saying that IELTS exam is your go-to choice when you're planning your study in Canada or your immigration in Canada? Is it that no other exam is accepted there, or IELTS is a popular exam and hence I'm saying so? Why do you feel am I saying that it is your go-to exam when it comes to Canada as your choice country for immigration? Is IELTS not accepted otherwise? So these are the questions that you should be asking me, which I'm asking you right now. So IELTS, like many other English exams, is accepted by Canadian immigration because this exam has been there for many years. How to do well in this exam is very transparently available for you. The practice resources are unlimited, and the test dates, the faster results and accurate results, all this makes the IELTS exam a more popular choice when we compare it to many other exams. Okay, so your receiving organization would outline, whether you need only IELTS or any other exam will also do. But our suggestion would be keep yourself out of any problem or hassle and choose IELTS exam because it helps you to prepare much faster. Yeah. So Bala, that's what the question I was waiting for. Always remember there is a requirement when you give an exam. And if you have multiple choices, then you can choose any one which is making you score higher. And the best part about the IELTS exam is the mock tests are available without any cost. Yeah, so you can always check your level and know exactly where you are falling short of marks, and you can accelerate your preparation. So we all realize, the preparation cost becomes an added expense, for many exam preparation. But when it comes to the IELTS exam, the beauty with which this exam tests you, it really does not require any specialized coaching. It really doesn't. So if I look at the listening exam, if I look at the reading exam, or I look at the speaking exam, it's from your everyday life. Whatever you and me may be talking about the education, or you and me talking about, health sector, you may get that as a question, as an essay question. So idea is IELTS exam is very relatable. And whatever we've been doing in the school system as an unseen passage, answering some question and answers, doing some matching, doing some fill in the blanks, the pattern is so transferable. What we used to study English in school is absolutely transferable to this international English exam. Only thing that we need to be careful is we don't take exam for granted, and we do put in the time management and little preparation efforts. See your mock results are giving your desired scores, and then book your exam. Now, the question that should ideally be coming here from all of you should be, if I'm looking for, a future in Canada, how much should I prepare in the IELTS exam? That's a question that you should be asking in this series from me. And the mock test is self-accessible. If you go on the website, IELTSIDPindia.com, and you go on the preparation, there are mock tests available both for computer-based and pen and paper. So of course, for pen and paper, they give you the answer key. but for the computer based, they give you the output through the software. Yeah, so please look at the website, visit today, Diganta. Yeah, I can read your question in the chat. Now, coming to the band score, the question that should come from all of you is, if it's Canada, what's the band score? What's a good band score? How much preparation is the right preparation? See, if you're speaking English day in and day out, and you're very comfortable with using different tenses, and you do not eat the determiners, and you do not have a vocabulary hiccup, then ideally 1 week preparation will also do wonders for you. But if your language skills are not up to the mark, that means there are some grammatical errors, there's some vocabulary struggle, then your preparation journey will be slightly more than the others. But how many days is not the answer. Seeing your mock test results will give you the right confidence. So for example, if I prepare for 10 days and I start getting 35 out of 40 in my listening test consistently, I'll be confident and I'll say, okay, I'm ready to book, at least for the IELTS exam 10 days from now. But I need to make sure my scores for the reading, writing also are to my requirement. So all that I'm saying is, this session is to let you know, getting a band 6, getting a band 7, or getting a band 8 in IELTS exam does not require multiple attempts. I'm here to break this myth that you need to give multiple attempts before you get your results in an English exam. No, not at all. When we hurry the process, when we close our eyes to our weaknesses, that's when we end up giving more attempts, and that's what makes us demotivated. So I'm letting you know from my experience, I've been part of the IELTS industry for more than 24 years. And in my entire journey, there's only one thing that I've always stood very close to is reflective practice makes you perfect. So today's top tip, to get success in IELTS and make success in Canada, USA, Australia, anywhere with IELTS exam, because it's worldwide recognized, you need to know where you stand in your English skills. And for that, you need practice material, and IDP gives you those free practice material. Yeah. And in the master classes, you will see me doing independent practice too with you. So I would keep meeting you in different sessions, and I will try bringing more and more areas into focus where you may lose marks if you don't pay attention to. Okay, so I'm going to cover some top tips today for you. The first tip that I would like to say is, it's very important for us to use English as part of our day-to-day routine if we want to do well in the IELTS exam. Why I say that? People have a myth that picking up an IELTS preparation book is what prepares you for the IELTS exam. No, it is a day-to-day English language test, and whatever questions come, they are actually from your daily life. A topic like sports, a topic like fitness, we all relate to it. Yeah. So please practice English daily. Speak to your peer group, speak to your friends, speak to your teachers. More you use English, more easy will you be with the vocabulary, the grammatical connection, and the inaccuracies will go away gradually. Now, the second tip is, whenever you're communicating in the IELTS exam, whether it's speaking or writing, you must be very clear and you must be coherent. Okay, so by clear, it means you can't just give a face value answer and expect the examiner to understand you. So if somebody happens to ask, do you play sports? And you say, yes, I play sports. Yes, you are relevant in your answer, but it's not a very, very clear and detailed answer. You got to speak at least 2 to 3 lines, demonstrate your English at every opportunity that the examiner gives you. So when you give complete answers and you give clear answers, you get complete scores, and that makes your dreams come true. So getting a band 6 and above in the IELTS is much achievable if you do this basic, okay? Use this language daily, Communicate clearly and relevantly, even in your day-to-day life. Try not giving only one-liner answers to your friends. Try to build on your answers. As a person, get into the habit of giving complete answers, and you can transfer these skills without any pressure to a real test exam. Okay, see how easy it is. Now, the third thing, which I really want to spend time today with you all, is not all exams are very clear with the assessment criterions. I hope you all agree. So we know English can be judged on XYZ criterions, but what goes in those criterions are most transparently given by the IELTS exam. If I put the spotlight on a speaking assessment criterion, which is accessible on IELTS IDP India website, it says your fluency and coherence are the first column that the examiner is checking you upon. Now, my dear participants, when this column is there for band 1, band 2, band 3, up to band 9, there are different inputs given by us. For a band 9, a fluency is uninterrupted. Person is not searching for vocabulary, and person is not, giving unnecessary pauses. That doesn't mean that a band 9 is a scripted answer. They speak with emotions. They have necessary pauses, which make speech human. So please understand the assessment criterion by looking at the specific row and column for your requirement. For example, Ranju, I'm picking your name from here. You probably wanted a band 8, in your speaking. But when the scores came, probably you got a band 7. And, for some purpose, you needed a band 8 because that was your requirement. I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying that's the requirement otherwise. Now, how would you know where were your gaps? Of course, by looking at band 7 to band 8 journey in the assessment criterion. Moment you accept that, oh, I had to do this more to not fall short, you're ready for the exam. All that I'm saying is transparency is what makes IELTS more relatable for IELTS candidates. These assessment criterions have been very carefully designed and kept for public use on the IDP India website, on the Cambridge assessment website. This is available a click away. Wherever the IELTS information is there, speaking band descriptor, writing band descriptors are there. My request would be always get the first column of your marking right first. If your first column is right for speaking and your first column is right for writing, then only you're ready to improve the journey for the other criterions. If the problem is in the first column, then you have more hard work to do. So many of you may want to ask me, ma'am, how can I improve fluency? How can I speak like a native speaker? Well, there's no requirement to have an accent for the IELTS exam. But yes, we need you to enunciate and do pronunciation clearly, because speaking is all about clear communication. And if words are not spoken in a clear manner, they can create confusion and they can break down the communication, right? So I would recommend a technique which is followed by many people outside India too. And this technique is called shadowing technique. Okay. So I'm going to delve a little deeper in this. For those who are struggling with fluency, for those who don't know what is intonation, what is word stress, you don't need to get into books to learn those dynamics. You just need to pick up a listening audio of IELTS exam, play it for 1 minute, have the transcript also in front of you, and keep your eyes on the transcript and listen when the audio plays just for 1 minute. You need to manage your pause buttons yourself. Now, step 2, you will keep the transcript with you and you will keep the audio on a play mode, the same 1 minute again to be repeated, but this time there'll be an additional sound which is yours. You will be also reading along at the same pace, because this will teach you how to pace your words, how to get the elements of connected speech. Now, why native speakers sound like native speaker is A, because they don't struggle for vocabulary, they don't have unnecessary pauses, and they never use and as a sitting conjunction where they do the breathing. The problem with many of us is we take breathing pauses on any word, which unintentionally stresses that word, which may be incorrect stress in the sentence stress or the word stress. So please understand, shadowing technique will help you come over all these without getting into nitty-gritties of the rules and without getting too much bothered about the elements that make pronunciation complete. So what is shadowing technique? Step 1, listen and read. Step 2, listen, read, and speak. And step 3, read and speak. So there's no listening audio, but this time you are the voice alone and you also record yourself to hear. Trust me, if you do this daily 15 minutes for 7 days without gap, you will see a new shade of your speaking, which you're going to love. Okay, so shadowing is an amazing technique and it gives instant results. All that you got to use is use listening audios of IELTS exam because they demonstrate the correct speaking skills. Okay, now coming to another tip for today's session is you must paraphrase whenever there's an opportunity in the writing and speaking. Okay, by this I mean do not copy or parrot the written or spoken words because that's borrowed vocabulary. You need to demonstrate your lexical strength. You need to demonstrate your grammatical range. So paraphrasing is beautiful. You know, at times synonyms or antonyms helps you paraphrase. At times changing the word order makes you help the paraphrase. At times changing the sentence structure from active to passive helps you paraphrase. So paraphrasing not necessarily relies only on synonyms because not all of us are capable of giving so many synonyms. So please try understanding paraphrasing and try understanding the importance of why should we not copy paste the question when in the speaking exam or in the writing exam, because that's not our vocabulary. We can pick up keywords and speak or write, you know, as per the context, but we don't need to copy the words, please. Okay, that's a very important tip. This looks very basic, but most of the students who do not get a band 7, if you go to the scripts or the audio, you will see they're lacking paraphrase. Okay, so knowing the assessment criterion, communicating completely and relevantly, using English daily, these are the tips that can make you easily score so well in the IELTS exam. You don't need to mug up idioms. You don't need to mug up rich vocabulary. Of course, you can add to your knowledge, but there's no pressure. Another tip that I would like to give for today's session is build on your sentence structures. If you write complex sentence structures, you demonstrate higher language competency, and a mix of compound complex is also okay, but more bent towards complex sentence structures when you write and speak. Now, you must understand as English language users, complex sentences doesn't mean that the full stop is delayed. It is just about multiple ideas joined with conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, relative clauses, and they're bringing around a meaning beautifully. So please try to work on conditional sentences, try to work on gerund sentences. That's a complex sentence structure and that can really change your band score by brilliantly. I can't even tell you how quickly, but trust me, you know, there's nothing else that you need to do. If you understand English and you are answering as per the question requirement, to have a higher score, you need to give evidence for high advanced English, and complex sentence structures help you demonstrate it. Okay. Last but not the least, the tip for today's session is you all are brilliant. You all are deserving. Where there's a will, there's a way. So you have to believe in yourself. English is not difficult. IELTS exam is not at all tough, and it can become a winning edge for you if you prepare yourself with reflective practice. Do not ignore your weaknesses. Embrace them, overcome them. And IELTS is a success ticket for journey to foreign countries, for demonstrating your English proficiency, even in India. Okay, so the entire journey of IELTS completely changes the way you deal with English in your day-to-day life. So those are the top tips and tricks for the IELTS exam in today's session. But there's a certain slide I've got for you specially. This slide has two purposes. Purpose one, avoid these mistakes when speaking or writing. And purpose two, all these elements help you to prepare beautiful sentence structures and give a variety. Okay. So these are not the only sentence structures components, but if you all have been practicing, you will understand how important is a WH relative. You all will understand how important are if conditionals, and perfect tenses are much higher rated than the other tenses. And of course, passives at times makes your writing slow, but that's a higher end use again. And gerunds are beautiful. They're less used, but they bring a variety. So my request is ace up, okay, and join our forthcoming sessions, because I'm going to teach you how to make these sentence structures, not today, but in the forthcoming sessions also. Okay, today my voice is